Welcome to Monday. Welcome to a new week of Student of the Gun Radio. And we hope that you had a moment or took a moment to spend some time with your family this weekend on the Easter holiday. Hopefully you had a blessed weekend and spent time with those close to you. Were able to relax a little bit because it's time to get back to work, is it not? That's right. We're back to another work week. And we're here, I'm here, you're here, we're both here, so let's get this going. I am your host, Professor Paul Markle, and I am coming to you from the Glass Case of Emotion Studios down here on the sunny Gulf Coast. And with me, joining me in the studio, as always, is Jared. He's on the other side of the glass, and he's ready to say hello.
I am ready to say hello, and we actually have some pretty cool stuff to talk about this week, or today on Monday, and the rest of the week, obviously.
Yeah, we're going to welcome a new sponsor and a new segment. Now, our new sponsor's kind of new. They've been with us for a while. It's Century Arms. Century Arms has been the sponsor of the Student of the Gun mobile app for a full year, and actually a year plus. They came on originally and sponsored the app. That's why you don't have to pay for it, because Century Arms footed the bill for the setup and all that jazz. If you haven't checked out the mobile app lately, you really should. Jared did some work in the background, and he added some features to it. If you have an iPhone, just go to the iTunes Store or iPad, whatever, and you can download it. And, of course, if you have an Android operating system, you go to the Google Play Store, type in Student of the Gun, and it's like, oh, look, there's a mobile app. I'm going to go ahead and download that for free, thanks to the folks at Century Arms.
And then after you download it, go ahead and leave a review for us, because that's how we decide what updates we're going to make to it.
Yes, please, if you would be so kind as to leave us a review either on the iTunes Store or the Google Play Store. And even if you already have it, if you've already got the mobile app, next time you're on there, or next time you're in the Google Play Store, if you would leave us a review, that would be great.
If it's going to be less than 4 stars, go ahead and email me first and let me know.
Let me know why, and
let
what
me
your
know
problem
what I can
is.
change to make it a 5-star review.
We've got a new feature this week. Now, you guys know that way back. Oh, I don't know. It was in the first year. It was probably in the first few months.
Yeah, it was like 3 months after we started.
We started doing a Student of the Week because we like it when you guys participate. And we said, hey, how can we let the audience participate in our show? We're going to start doing Student of the Week questions. And originally we started having you send them in, post them on the forum and what have you. And we still read those. And, don't feel bad, guys, if you're like, oh, I didn't get picked to be the Student of the Week, oh, man. But even if you don't get picked to be the Student of the Week, quite often what we'll get questions that are of a similar nature or a similar vein. And even if we don't use them in the Student of the Week question, we'll craft the show around there. It's like, well, obviously, a dozen people have this question, so let's go ahead and throw it into the show notes, or we'll discuss it or talk about it or what have you. It's kind of like leaving questions on the mobile app. Well, the new feature is called the SWAT Fuel Warrior of the Week. And Jared's going to tell you what you get if you are the SWAT Fuel Warrior of the Week.
This is a pretty new, awesome announcement here. We've got the SWAT Fuel Warrior of the Week, and we talked to Dano, and he said, hey, I want to give whoever asks your question, whatever question you pick, I want to give the person that asks that question a free bottle of 9mm Plus P. How awesome is that?
That is really awesome. I mean, that's generous. And when we approached Dan, we said, hey, would you like to do the SWAT Fuel Warrior of the Week? And we were thinking, well, can you send him a T-shirt and a hat or some swag, sticker, whatever,
like sample packs or something? Yeah,
like a single pack of SWAT Fuel or what have you. And he's like, no, I'm going to send him a whole bottle. It's like almost a $50 value by the time you would buy it,
and
pay for shipping and everything. So you're talking probably it's like $50 essentially worth of free stuff. And you know that we're doing something new. And if you don't, perk up your ears. Jared set up a phone number, and so you can hear your own voice on Student of the Gun Radio.
And then when you're done running around the room,
screaming,
I'm on the radio, then you can enjoy the answer that we give you to the question that you asked. And the number that you can call is, get your phone out right now, click on the little phone thing, pull up your number tab, and I want you to type in 682-207-SOTG, and if you don't have the alphanumeric pad, type in 682-207 7684. I forgot what
You had to look.
I was like, I don't remember what it is.
7684. Okay.
7684. And leave us a question. Please, please, please rehearse your questions.
And they have done that, though.
Yes, they have.
You guys are doing
I
a
asked
good
that
job.
last week, and you guys have done a very good job since then.
Pat yourself on the back unless you're driving.
And then have somebody else do it for you.
All right.
So I picked a new song for the Warrior of the Week, and it fits in very well because it's called the Warrior Song. And I'm going to go ahead and play that song for you in a second. But the reason I chose this question this week is because it pertains to SWAT Fuel and being a warrior, and it's a really good question.
Hey guys, this is Nathan in Ohio, and this year my goal is to take my physical fitness seriously, especially as it relates to armed self-defense. I also started competing this last year in IDPA and would love to be a more fit competitor. My problem, as always, is getting started. Can you give me a little guidance as to where and how to begin that would be simple, efficient, and effective, especially for someone who has never been able to get over the getting started hump? Thanks guys, really enjoy the show.
That was a great question, Nathan, and thank you for rehearsing your question before you called in and asked it. Do you want to start with we're going to double team this one because it's a good question it addresses firearms and fitness and everything else, really.
Well, the truth of the matter is and you're gonna, I'm sure you're gonna agree with this. The getting started part is not physical. The getting started part is mental, and that is the toughest thing. Anybody can do something once. I mean, let's face it. Look at the nation. January 2nd, all the gyms are full. February 2nd, they're empty again. And why is that? Because people, and it's not new. It's been going on for the whole history of the world. If it was easy, anybody would do it. And so only the good things get accomplished by people that have motivation and discipline. And what I'm going to tell you is this. I'm going to tell you that you need to set yourself goals. And you need to set realistic goals. Before you start, I want you to sit down and I want you to write down with an actual writing instrument. I want you to take either a pencil or a pen and that stuff that they make out of dead trees, and I want you to write it and say, these are my 3 goals. So keep it simple. I mean, not unless you're Jesse Owens or something, you're like, I'm going to run a 4-minute mile. No. Keep it simple. But write those goals down so that you can see them, read them, look at them, that you can pick them up in the morning and look and say, okay, those are my goals. And then set out to achieve those goals. Now you say, well, what are those goals? I don't know. If you're going to be a shooter, I can tell you something from a physical standpoint that you need. If you're going to be a good shooter and you're going to employ the mechanics of a firearm, whether it's a handgun or rifle or whatever, you need grip strength, you need forearm strength, and you need dexterity. Okay, you need those things. And there are ways that you can go about doing those. But if you want to be an accomplished shooter, well, obviously we don't shoot with our feet. We don't shoot with our chest or pectoralis muscles or our gluteus maximus muscles. You need to have a good solid grip. You need to have forearm strength, and you need to have upper body strength. And there's lots of ways you can work on those. And that's when I throw it over to Jared.
Wow, that was a pretty good segue. Like the chimpanzee on a Segway. Have you seen that?
I have not seen a chimpanzee on a Segway.
Riding on Segway. Chimpanzee riding on Segway. Anyway, that's what Segway made me think of. And I'm a firm believer in everything happens for a reason. And the reason I say that is because I just picked up a book that I've had for, I don't know, John Saylor gave it to me in 2007, I think. And I was rereading it. I read it back then. And I was rereading it. And the very first chapter is about this thing. The book's called Combat Conditioning, Functional Exercises for Fitness and Combat Sports. And it's by Matt Fury. And he covers basically functional exercises for fitness and combat sports. And obviously shooting is not a combat sport per se. It can be. Would you consider IDPA a combat sport?
Well, yeah. If there is such a thing as a combat sport, and I guess there is technically. I mean, if we go back to kendo and kenjutsu and judo and jujitsu, those are all sports that are based upon the need to perform in combat.
Right.
So,
yeah.
yes.
So anyway, in this book by Matt Fury, and you can get it on Amazon, I'm sure. If not, then I have a copy and I can help you. And he talks about this thing called the Royal Court. And it's the 3 base exercises that you should be doing, no matter who you are, what you do. You need to be doing these exercises. And you know them. You're familiar with them, Dad. I'm familiar with them because this is what we were taught. John Saylor taught us this. And I don't know if he learned it from Matt Fury or if he learned it from somebody else. But Matt Fury says the Royal Court is Hindu squats, Hindu push-ups, and neck bridges. And you're very familiar with those, aren't you?
Yeah.
Now, Hindu squats, those, and if you need any help, I'm sure some of you might not know what Hindu squats are. Email me, and I can help you out, give you examples, or you can look on YouTube. But if you have any specific fitness questions to your body, to what you need to do, email me, and I'll do what I can to help you out. My email is Jarrad, Jarrad, @studentofthegun.com. And anyway, go back to the Royal Court. Hindu squats, they help you with your balance. They help you strengthen pretty much your entire body. Your calves, your quads, your hips, your feet. And then you go to the Hindu push-ups. The Hindu push-ups help you strengthen your wrists, your arms, your forearms. And he was talking about how you needed that core strength. And you need core strength. Mm-hmm. You don't want the bodybuilder strength where you're good for 30 seconds and then you're exhausted.
Schwarzenegger strength, you need core strength. Did you know that there's a website called CBAS, not like SEA. It's www. C as in Charlie.
Like kick his ass, Seabass?
No, like C as in Charlie, Bass, BASS, .com/Fury. Anyway, I put in the word Hindu squats, and it comes up with it. And basically, Matt Fury's Royal Court of Exercise Fitness, it's laid out. There's descriptions and pictures.
Oh, cool.
So you're welcome.
So do that. Go there, and it'll tell you how to do everything. So Hindu push-ups, let me get back to those real quick. They build the core strength that you need, as well as the arch that you do when you do the Hindu push-up. It actually strengthens your spine, and it helps you make your spine more flexible. And I've had a lot of questions from people that are disabled in some way. And to be honest, I don't feel comfortable answering those questions because I'm not disabled. I might be mentally disabled a little bit, but no, I'm not physically disabled. So I'm searching for somebody that I can ask who has been in that position.
Or somebody who's a trained physical therapist.
Or somebody who's a trained physical therapist. And I've actually asked my physical therapist that I use for my shoulder after I had surgery. He didn't really have a solid answer, though. So I don't know. I think it's more of like somebody who's been there, done that would be the best option. So let me get back to the Royal Court. The last exercise I did, the Hindu squats, Hindu push-ups. The last exercise is the back bridge. There's two types of bridges. There's front bridge, back bridge. Do the back bridge, and that strengthens your entire body, literally. If you do the right form, it strengthens every single muscle in your body.
And when it comes to the back bridge, your first goal should be 30 seconds.
Yeah, and that's where coming in, he says set, what did you say? Realistic goals?
Set realistic goals, yeah.
Realistic goals, yeah. So what I would do is, if you've never done anything, if you don't have a good level of fitness yet, for Hindu squats and Hindu push-ups, just set your goal to 25. If you've done more, if you can do 100 straight Hindu squats, then
you're a monster and you're ready to go.
Yeah, well, you're not a monster, but you're getting there.
You're getting close to monster level.
If you do 500 straight, then I'll give you some credit.
Remember, what did we do at John's? We did 3 sets of 25.
I don't remember.
I think we did. We do 25 and rest, 25 rest, 25 rest, and then the next day, I couldn't walk up the stairs.
Yeah,
no, I could walk up the stairs, but not without saying,
couldn't walk
ow.
Down them.
Yeah, that's a
up's fine, down's
up is
hard.
fine. It's going down the stairs. You take a step down. Ow, ow, ow. That's okay. That's how you know your muscles are growing. All right. Well, that was a good question, Nathan. And Jarrad, remind him that he needs to email Alex.
Yeah, email Alex, ALEX, @studentofthegun.com. And I need you to send her your name, your mailing address, your phone number, your email, and I think that's it now. You don't need a shirt size anymore.
Nope. You're not going to wear the plus P on your
Yeah,
body.
you want to wear the plus P.
All right, folks, it's time to get into the meat. It's time to get into the heart of it. And you already read the title of it, Campus Carry, Bad Idea. Well, it might be a bad idea to be armed, and you just don't know it. You're like, well, what do you mean? Why would it be a bad idea? Well, there's this organization that is called KeepGunsOffCampus.org. Oh, I did not know that existed. Now, we talked about this previously, how Florida and Texas, and there's several other states that have amended and altered and put forth bills to allow adult human beings, not children. I love how the hippies like to, refer to college students as children or young people or youths or whatever. Unless you're like Doogie Howser and you go to college at age 14. Everybody who's going to college is a legal adult. Even if they're only 18, I know that's the weird world that we live in, and I understand that we've been so, what do I want to say, accepting or subservient or what have you, that we've allowed our government to tell us that, well, when your son is 18, he's an adult, and he has to register for selective service, and he can vote, and he can serve on a jury, and he can join the Army or the Marine Corps or whatever, and we can send him over to Iraq to get his guts blown out. But you can't drink a beer because he's not mentally mature enough. I've never been able to wrap my brain around that. When I joined the Marine Corps, actually I got out of high school, and I didn't join the Marine Corps right away. I got out of high school, and I got a job, and I worked for a little while, and I was actually 20 years old when I was in the Marine Corps. And so here I am. I'm 20 years old. I'm a United States Marine. I've been through basic training. I've been through infantry school. And I get my first assignment, and I'm still 20, and I can't drink a beer legally. And I'm thinking to myself, this is not right. How is it that I'm mentally mature enough? You know what's sad, Jared? This is the crazy thing. I got assigned to the USS Forrestal. I became a member of the Marine Detachment. I went through guard school. I went through training. I got assigned to the guard detachment. I was responsible for nuclear weapons security. I was part of the nuclear weapons security force on the U.S. Navy ship. And I couldn't leave the ship, go into town, and legally drink a beer because I wasn't mentally mature enough. So juxtapose that. Well, you're intelligent enough and mentally mature enough to guard nuclear weapons, but you are not enough to drink beer because until that magic point where you become a 21-year-old, whatever. So getting back to the college campuses, so we have these colleges, these anti-gun people, these anti-gun movements on our college campi. Keep guns off campus because college students aren't mature enough or intelligent enough or responsible enough to be allowed to protect their lives with weapons. They can only protect their lives. And, of course, apparently with this is you go to their website here, this little propaganda page, and they're all holding candles. They're having a vigil. That's how you stop bad people, isn't it, Jared? Is that how you stop terrorists, by holding a vigil?
Yeah.
Well, they're trying to prevent this. Organizations like this and others are trying to stop these various states from allowing adults who have concealed carry permits to carry their guns on campus because that's just too dangerous. It's too dangerous. And one of the propaganda things is here. It says they discovered. It's amazing. Did you see that they conducted the study? The KeepGunsOffCampus.org conducted a study, and they discovered that on-campus crime rates have increased in 2 states where campus carry is allowed. So unlike what the NRA says, where guns stop crime or reduce crime, that's not true. Well, what I'm going to say to that is, I don't care. That doesn't make one bit of a difference to me, because if it's my own individual life, I don't care what the statistics say. I care whether or not I can have the tools, if I can possess the tools to protect myself. So there's a whole bunch of propaganda here and so forth. And Jared, tell the audience, because you're a webmaster, tell the audience what they've done here that is shady and underhanded, and that if you did it, you'd probably get in trouble.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that this isn't kosher. It says on their website here on the main page, it says, one senseless tragedy was too many. Join our campaign to keep guns off campuses nationwide. Sign the petition. And then it gives you a spot to put your email and your zip code. What they're doing here, this is not even a petition. You're not signing a petition. You're giving them your information so they can contact you later. So I don't know. That's very dishonest.
You're signing on to it. You're up for an email,
and they don't.
You're signing onto their email list.
Yeah, and on here it doesn't say no spam. So they're probably going to sell their email address. These people's email addresses.
Oh yeah, they'll sell it to Bloomberg.
They're not going to.
And to the every town for gun safety.
I almost want to put my email address in there. To
see how much propaganda you get.
Yeah, see what I get.
You should actually do that. Put one in there that you're and you can report back to the audience next week the amount of anti-gun left-wing propaganda that you get. Now these hippies and puke faces and liberal Democrats who think, oh, dude, did you see this? They made their little things out of Coca-Cola cups. Their little candlelight vigil is made out of Coca-Cola cups. They're holding candles in Coke cups. But they obviously are not operating in the realm of reality.
What was our zip code in Ohio?
44654.
44654.
Okay. So anyway, here you dig down in here in and amongst all the lies and propaganda and disinformation. Oh, there's a story about a college professor who committed a murder-suicide. He killed his wife and then he killed himself. And so based upon that, that's why we need to keep guns off campuses, because professors can't be trusted. Okay. Well, if you dig in here, they have a solution, and their answer is this, and this should scare the ever-living crap out of you if you're listening. Their answer to keeping people safe is increased security presence and psychological monitoring. Yes, they use the words, in quotes, psychological monitoring. So according to keepgunsoffourcampuses.org, the answer to campus crime and rape and violence and so forth is not you being allowed to possess the tools that you could use to defend your life. Their answer is to keep you disarmed, to increase the level of state authority. That would be the increased security presence. So what we need is a disarmed populace, but we understand that a disarmed populace doesn't stop bad people. So we're going to inject the state. We're going to inject more authority figures, and to top that off, we're going to increase psychological monitoring of students and faculty members and anyone who has access to the campus.
What does that even mean?
Dude, that is so Orwellian. That is so 1984. It's like you hear that whirring sound, that's George Orwell spinning in his grave. We've got an organization that thinks the best way to keep the peasants free from harm is to disarm them, increase the presence of the state, and to conduct psychological monitoring.
Croton Falls, New York is where they're from.
Wow. All right, so you've got that. So what you have is you have propagandists who are trying to convince you that you are a plebe, that the citizen cannot be trusted with arms, that people that go to colleges are too stupid, too immature to be allowed to have the tools or possess the tools to defend themselves, and they really shouldn't even try. You should leave that to the authority figures. Well, you know what happened last week, and we're going to move into the next segment, and this is going to be the final part of this week's radio show. But it's brought to you by Velocity Triggers, designed for precision. And if you got a black rifle, Velocity Triggers has a trigger for you. And don't forget about Brownells at brownells.com. Brownells has not only parts for every gun owner, whether you're a hunter, a sports shooter, a personal defense guy, what have you. They've got something for you in the Brownells catalog. So check those guys out. And don't forget, the NRA annual meeting is coming up this week. That's right. It's Monday. The NRA annual meeting in Nashville actually starts on Friday. And all you have to be is an NRA member to get in. You don't have to buy tickets. All you have to show them is a valid NRA card, a current card, and you get in. So, and you say, well, I don't have one of those right now. That's cool. You want one? Go to the show. Walk up, sign up for an NRA membership. They'll let you buy a 1-year membership, and you can go in. And while you're there, if you see people like our friends at Century Arms, at the Century Arms booth, at the Velocity Triggers booth, the Brownells booth, people like Keltec who support us, Crossbreed who supports us, Duracoat who supports us, all these people, Frog Lube, don't forget about Frog Lube, they support us. Anybody that supports Student of the Gun, you want to walk up to those guys and say, hey, I appreciate what you're doing. Paul and Jared and Zach could not bring the material that they bring to you if it wasn't for the support of our friends in the industry. And it'll cost you absolutely nothing to walk into the Brownells booth and say, hey, I heard about you guys on Student of the Gun. Thank you. Cost you nothing. And if we see you wearing one of your shirts, what are we going to do? Or one of our shirts, one of the official SOTG shirts or Patriot Fire Team shirts, what are we going to do for them, Jared? We're going to hand them an official Student of the Gun sticker. He's got that look over there. He's fiddling with his monitor. He's got that super intense, I'm doing something look on his face.
I got the follow-up email from these people, and the dude...
Already? Oh, they got on you quick.
It's instant. It's
yeah. I got you.
But it says blah, 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 blah. And then the dude's name is Andy Pelosi. Who's that?
Andy Pelosi, like the communist Pelosi?
Andy.
Spelled the same way?
Andy. Yeah, like Pelosi, like Nancy Pelosi.
Oh, gross. That makes me...
I was trying to figure out
that gives me the creeps. I feel like I need to take a shower.
I was trying to figure out if he was related to her.
Yeah. But anyway, go on.
I was just wanted to say that. I don't know who this dude is.
Well, we'll see. We'll report back to you guys next week and see how much propaganda has been shoved into Jared's inbox from these puke faces.
I'll read you the email here. This is the instant email after you sign up. It's from info@gunfreekids.org.
So this is not even, it's not even kids, you signed up at keepgunsoffcampus.org.
Yeah, and
they instantly sent your email to some other site. So they've got this big network of anti-gun propagandists.
And it says, supporter. They couldn't even use my first name.
Dear supporter.
Yeah, supporter. Thanks for signing the petition to keep guns off college campuses. University leaders are better suited to consider the safety of our kids than weapons merchants. The most important the most important thing to do now is to tell your friends about this effort. We've won in many states this year, but bills are pending in several states. If you're on Facebook or Twitter or blah, 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 click these buttons to share. You can also forward this message below to your friends and family, but please make sure to only send it to people you actually know. Spam hurts our campaign. So maybe they won't spam people.
Yeah, good luck.
But they'll sell it to other people. But whatever.
Yeah, $100 is you're going to get something from the moms and the Towns for Gun Safety and all these Bloomberg-sponsored organizations.
Yeah. I'll just keep you guys updated.
All right.
Put that in my personal trainer email that I use because I don't use that one very often yet. So hopefully it doesn't spam the rest of my inboxes.
Okay, so here's what we've got. Let's go ahead and juxtapose these puke face hippie liberal scumbags who are essentially, they're trying to propagandize your young skulls full of mush and convince them that they're not only shouldn't they, but they shouldn't be allowed to, but they're not even responsible enough to defend their own lives. It's not their responsibility. Someone else is in charge of saving your life, not you. Well, it's Monday, folks. Last week, what were we treated to again in Kenya, in Africa? You're like, I don't care about Kenya. I don't care about Africa. I live in America. Well, you should, because these are workups. This is training. This is coming to a school, mall area near you. There's no reason if they can do this in Kenya that they can't do it in the United States of America. So what happened last week? And we had 4 Johnny Jihads, 4 or 5. The numbers have been confused because first I saw that 5 people, and then they said 4 were shot dead. Apparently they killed 4 and captured 1. Maybe that's it. They killed 4 and captured 1 terrorist, and they're going to be interrogating that person. But it was the same puke faces that 2 years ago walked into the mall in Nairobi and murdered a whole bunch, but they got a bunch more here. According to them, according to the goat rapists, the goat molesters, we're doing this to protest the presence of the Kenyan military on Somali soil, because we all know how holy the soil in Somalia is. I mean, it's like Mecca, right? So in order to protest the presence of the military in Somalia, the Kenyan military, they decided to go to a university and murder hundreds of innocent students because, that's what you do. Now, you'd think if they were so bad and cool and we're cool, we're badasses, blah, blah, blah. Well, if they're protesting the presence of the Kenyan military, why didn't they send their guys out to attack and fight the Kenyan military, Jared? Oh, because those guys have guns and those guys could shoot you? That could be. Well, there's been a number of stories out in the media, and you can find them everywhere. But we've got a video link, and it comes to us from CBSNews.com, and they interviewed a survivor. And Jared's got the clip. He's got the audio clip here. He's going to play it for you guys. We're going to let this girl talk. And after she talks, and we're going to go ahead and dissect this event, and we're going to talk about it in detail.
Security forces rushed to the university campus, but it was too late. The Al-Shabaab gunmen were already inside the students' dormitories. I can hear students screaming, he says.
That gun looks really familiar.
Daisy Achieng heard the screaming too. She repeatedly heard the attackers single out Christians.
They were being asked some few questions from the Quran. If you get it correct, you're spared. If you get it wrong, you're shot on the spot.
We found Achieng at this makeshift shelter set up for the shell-shocked victims of the siege. At one point, she told us she heard a phone ring. It was the mother of one of the students taken hostage.
He took the phone from her and told the lady that I'm going to kill your child right now, so no, it's the last time you're going to hear a voice. So hear me kill her, and I had a gunshot.
By nightfall, security forces freed the students. As Achieng stumbled to safety, she said she saw many of her friends lying face down on the ground. Then she realized they'd been murdered.
Some had been shot. They had many gunshot wounds. Some had their throats slit. Some had their tongues sticking out. It was just a horrifying sight.
This is a country awash with grief, as anguished relatives hope for a miracle, but expect the worst. But grief is also turning to anger, as relatives want to know why the university merely sent letters to students warning of an imminent attack without taking additional security measures. This criticism has also been leveled at the government, who have been accused of failing to protect these young people. Deborah Patter, CBS News, Garissa, Kenya.
All right, folks. What do we know? First thing that they said in the news story is security forces rushed to the university, but it was too late. Militants were already in the dorm rooms. So what does that tell you? What have we been telling you?
You are the first responder.
Ad nauseum. And the keep guns off our campus will tell you that it's not up to you. It's security. The security people, they will. Do security people escort you to and from class every day? Do they stay in your dorm room at night? Do they wake you up in the morning? Do they take you to breakfast, lunch, and dinner? Do you have your own personal security there with you? Well, no. I mean, there's some. And what happened to the security people at the university? Well, if you read the stories, the Johnny Jihads, they walked up, they found the armed security guards. There was a couple of them. They went up to them and killed them. Boom, boom. Okay, now the security guards are the few security. I think this is 2 or 3. The stories they're varied, but let's just say there's 2. So they go up there like, well, we know that there's 2 security guys at the main entrance. Okay, So we kill those guys. Now, we just killed the only people on the college campus that could do anything to stop us. Let's go. And so they do. And just like they did at the mall in Nairobi, they started asking people questions from the Quran, because that is the book of, the Quran is the guide to the religion of peace and brotherhood. Is it not, Jared?
Oh, definitely.
That is the handbook for people who represent the religion of peace and brotherhood. Okay. So the Muslim missionaries from the religion of peace and brotherhood start asking people questions, and if they get them wrong, they kill them instantly. Now, as our good buddy Brother Jay reminded us in Nairobi, is the goat molesters in Nairobi were so poorly educated in the death cult, or they were only educated in that one area of the death cult, that they were actually asking people questions and people were answering them correctly, but they were too stupid to know the real answer, and so they were killing them too. And then we have monsters doing things like, taking a phone out of a girl's hand and telling the mom, "Oh, this is the last you're going to hear of your kid." Do you guys understand that these monsters exist in your world, on the planet? They are in your world. And what the people that are supposed to care, the people that are supposed to protect you, whose job it is to protect you from these monsters, I want you to ask yourself, are they doing that? Or when the CNN or CBS or MSNBC or whatever, when you watch whatever your favorite news organization is, do representatives from the state, from the United States, the American state, do they get up in front of the cameras, then they condemn it with an asterisk? We condemn this action unequivocally. However, what do they always say? We strongly encourage people not to rush to judgment. Oh, okay. We condemn the actions of the Nazis, but we strongly encourage you not to rush to judgment because all Nazis aren't murderers. Okay. All right. Gotcha. All right. Cool. What does this tell you? And as the days go by, as the weeks go by, we're going to get more and more and be treated to more and more survivor stories. This is, the media is like a vulture that picks through the bones of a corpse. And they're going to go through it, and they're going to go through it, and they're going to go through it. And eventually you're going to find out things like people were shot but didn't die instantly. They were shot, laid on the floor, and then their friends, it's like the mall. I held their hand and watched them die. They bled to death. We hid under tables. We heard them shooting, and so we tried to hide. And we cowered in the corner. Dude, if you're in a dorm room and 4 guys with AKs are coming down the hallway, you're not going to stop them. Oh, we locked the door. Okay. Yeah, you're not going to stop them from coming in. The only thing that's going to stop them is bullets going into their bodies. Well, but you just can't let anybody have guns because that's not the answer. Yeah, you're right. Guns aren't the answer. Hiding in the corner is the answer. Increased security presence. That's the answer. Psychological monitoring. Maybe if they would have conducted more psychological monitoring of the students at the university in Kenya, this would have happened. Wouldn't have happened. There's something else that you guys need to talk about, or we need to talk about too. And in the story, it said how parents were angry and they're upset, and the citizens were angry because they sent letters. They've got intel. The United States has intel. Even Kenya has intel. And they know that across the border in Somalia that there are terrorist training camps. They know where these guys are. They know that they're bad people. And they knew that there was a threat. So you say, if they knew there was a threat, why didn't they increase security? Well, I'm going to ask you this. I'm going to throw this back into your court. Why do you think that is? Because even in places like this, even in situations where you've already had threats, why don't you say, hey, the bad guys are over there. Let's go to where the bad guys are and kill them so that they don't hurt our people. Oh, we can't do that because we might make them angry. We don't want to kill the terrorists because then the other terrorists might get angry and not like us anymore. it might inflame them against us.
They already don't like you.
What do you hear from the left wing? Well, we just can't go around killing terrorists because that doesn't solve anything. Actually, it kind of does.
We should talk to them.
Yeah, maybe these guys in Somalia don't have enough jobs. Maybe we need Marie Harf and her like to set up a jobs program in the Somali desert for them. Why is Somalia not currently a glass factory? Why is Somalia the planet Earth, if we made an example out of the country of Somalia, okay, is there an actual organized government there? I don't really think there is. There may be a sham or a shell of a government there. It's a flea-infested armpit. It is the armpit or the butthole, depending on who you talk to, of Africa. And we know that it is filled with monsters. Monsters that would go into your child's campus and murder them in their room. Those monsters. Do you think these monsters, if they were in Colorado, they made it to Colorado, would not kill your children in Colorado? Oh, it's different here. It's like, no, it's no different. And their buddies live here. Their buddies have gone overseas, played the little Johnny Jihad training game, got on planes and come back. Hey, Jared, there's a major metropolitan area in the United States of America where Somali Muslims have been like rattling their sabers and complaining and crying and so forth. Do you remember where that is? Remember the group of Somali Muslims that demanded that the free food banks provide them halal?
In Michigan.
No.
Where was it?
Minnesota.
Minnesota.
St. Paul, Minneapolis, St. Paul is filled with radicalized Muslims from Somalia, which makes no sense. And remember we told you about them attacking joggers? But we don't want to talk about that because that's offensive, and that might hurt someone's feelings. That might make an Islamic person in America feel uncomfortable. And Lord knows we don't want to make people that desire to kill us uncomfortable. That would be terrible. That would be wrong. Folks, you need to know this. When it goes down, the only people that are going to be able to affect a change are the people that are there. Same thing that happened in the mall. When people are shot, when people are bleeding, when bad people are walking around murdering innocent people, the only people that are going to have the ability or the opportunity to do anything positive are those that are present, that are already there. The police and the military, they're going to show up eventually. They're going to bag up the bodies, and they may catch the bad guys and kill them after they've already murdered your son, after they've already murdered your daughter. Is that going to make you feel better? Well, thank God my son wasn't allowed to carry a gun. I mean, he's dead now, but, it really would have been bad if he'd have been allowed to have the tools to defend himself. We can't risk it. Just can't risk it. It's too risky. I don't know what else to tell you. When these people approach you and tell you that you can't be trusted, that you're a peasant, you're a plebe, that the answer is more authority, more government, more restrictions, psychological monitoring. I think that the people at the Keep the Guns Off campus need psychological monitoring. So, ladies and gentlemen, you make your own choices. We're just here to present you with the facts. And that's all I have to say about that, really. And I hope, Jared, this week, if we're going to be releasing some new material, make sure that you check it out on the website. Make sure you're going to studentofthegun.com, seeing what's new there. And thank you for joining us for a brand new week of Student of the Gun Radio. Now, ladies and gentlemen and children of all ages, I'm going to give you my sign-off. Don't forget, you're a beginner once, but you should indeed be a student for life.